we're here. You didn't even tell us it's live TV, folks. This is live TV. Thank you for watching Pittsburgh Sportsline in the studio. Again, it's live in the BPTV studio. I'm Al Levine, the talking machine. Smoking Jim Frazier was just entertaining us for 6 minutes and 25 seconds. Almost none of it was true. We got Chip Hayner here and Nick Callis, our Waynesburg almost grad. When do you graduate?
Sunday.
Sunday's his last day.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
So far, you're advanced. You did it in 4 years.
Without a book.
And Smoking Jim had 100 books, never used one of them, and sold every one of them.
And you know, and Jim's college experience was the best 7 years of his life.
Yeah. And he has his top 10 greatest things from Cal U. It's up to 35 right now.
Yay.
All right, we better get started. We got sports to talk about tonight. I got some promos like I do. So we'll start with Olive Oil's Pizzeria. Maybe we can start bringing pizza in because they sponsored our show. They're at Hillcrest Shopping Center, 412-831-1900. Look at the work by Connor. Doesn't that get accented with my nice red shirt behind that? Look at that color coordination.
I like Italian.
Perfect. And Smoking Jim just got their prime rib special, which I've never seen. Somehow he gets it. And he has his bucket, that special Kentucky Fried dark meat bucket, $10.99.
Can't beat it.
He gets one every day, every week.
My protein.
All right, well, check out Olive Oil's Pizzeria. Great Italian food. You name it, they got it. And they even have salads now that we found out Smoking Jim likes salad with Italian dressing on it. So
Not Italian, Italian.
No, I said the I. I put the Italian on it.
Italy.
Yes. Next up, we end each show with Stay Joey Strong. It honors young Joey, died at 9 years old, a month before his 10th birthday, 7 years ago. His family started the Joey Favis Childhood Cancer Foundation because he died of the dreaded brain cancer, DIPG. It's a death sentence when kids are diagnosed with it. And they've raised over $100,000 trying to find a cure, and they give the money to the doctors, not Smoking Jim. So that's a good thing there. And you can check them out, donate your time, your money when they have events coming up, and we'll let you know when different events are coming. All right, another 501c3. We'll see what Connor does. Look, you got me and Nick there. Watch what happens.
Pow.
Bingo.
Pow.
Perfect. Bethel Park Historical Society Schoolhouse Arts and History Center, 2600 South Park Road. Can't miss it with the red trolley there. Yes, that's a trolley. They got different events there. They have a great library. They got old war uniforms, and they got the yearbooks for almost every year in Bethel Park High School. So check it out. They do different events. Stay tuned when they do events. I'll broadcast it and let you know. But it's 2600 South Park Road. They have a dance studio there. They got my favorite green tea place, Reginald's Coffee. They got great roasted coffee from all over the world that they put up. They have their own roaster right in their little cafe, which is really cool. So, and they have Wi-Fi for Smoking Jim to check on his sweeties. Next up, Bethel Park Community Foundation. Let me straighten that up for Connor. Watch what he does. Nick's looking intently. Look at that. Bang. Another great shot, Connor. Thanks for coming in shorts today. The weather was a little chillier in the last 2 days, but I know you can handle it. You come in here in 40 degrees.
I like that hoodie.
He's strong. Of course you do. He's swagging it, Smoking. Go to bpcf.org, get an application. They have grant money. I'm a trustee on the board from $100 to $5,000. They have meetings every couple months. If you have something good that you're doing in Bethel Park and you need money for your group to do great things here, you can get money. So check that out. Next up, this lady, Kathleen, needs a kidney. I'll show her picture there. We can't give the phone number out because that's her private nurse. They're going to get you the number for the hospital. Kathleen, get back to me on that number. She watches our show, so that's a special shout out for Kathleen. You know my number, and we've talked. Very nice lady. and she's doing very well right now, but her kidney function's at 17%, and they think in the next 6 months or year it'll go down to 15%, and that's what my function was when I got my transplant. So we'll keep hopeful because we need living donors for her. Next, Dave Cable likes to have a little fun at my expense. There's my smiling face on Uncle Sam. I want you for BPTV. You can be like Nick, who stepped right up somehow. You got to talk to Smoking Jim about it. He went from behind the camera, in front of the camera. He's done editing. He does it all. He even announces sports at Waynesburg U.
I've been on sports here too.
Well,
Pinewood Derby race.
Yes, the Pinewood Derby. I was honored to have Nick there, and I could have used you. I had to do a fashion show on Sunday, but Ethan was there, and we did a fashion show.
Oh.
And Smoking Jim Sindel said hello.
She was there?
Yeah, she helps the lady out who does it, this Carrie Ann who does Dress Hout and Teen Hout. She was there and ran a whole show with vendors and all kind of girls modeling all the gowns and stuff.
I've been there before, just couldn't make it on Sunday.
Well, no, it was at
Or
in
somewhere
Washington,
else.
PA.
Oh.
Yes. Yes. So
It's a little too far from Braintree.
Not from Waynesburg, huh?
yeah, Waynesburg, it's right there. Here's the test for Connor. We'll see what he does with this. I'll switch hands and see what we can come up with. Look at that. I'm not moving. Oh, a little bit.
Yeah, it's the camera. Tell 'em.
6103 Library Road, Route 88. You can't miss it. Red, white, and blue station. Just changed my tail lights last week, so I'm doing well there. They still work, Smoking Jim.
All right.
Great work. Skeets Service Station. Skeets Lewandowski's the owner. Anything that runs on gas, they can fix it. His right-hand man, Denny, he's one of the best there, and they're helping Skeets remodel his home.
And they do good with bullet holes too.
Yes, and Smoking Jim would know. He got shot at. One of the sweeties,
See the one going in my tailgate?
one of the sweeties' boyfriends was firing some bullets at him. That you got to be careful, but give him a call, 724-348-4715, and tell them Al Levine, the Talking Machine, sent them. All right, we got to go to Smoking Jim Frazier. What's on your mind with sports?
Thanks, Al Levine, the talking machine. And if you want the green,
Overhand fastball.
you got to see Levine.
Down the
I'm like Larry Fitzgerald, only 3 drops in my career. And my main man, Nick, the VIP of BPTV. And I tell you what, Nick, one of my best friends is in the Guinness Book of World Records like Gronk. He has 27-inch arms, which is, his name is Mickey Saunders. He got the biggest arms in the world. Another good friend of mine is a 7-time Mr. Olympia, Phil Heath. He got 24-inch arms. He tied Arnold's record. Arnold had 24-inch arms. You got to be sitting on 22s.
You think so?
Oh,
I think
yeah.
it's, last time
When
I
you
got
go to
measured, it was
weight room,
around.
all you do is curls, right?
It's
Curl.
that's
Oh,
all
well.
shirt.
Oh, he did it all shirt. But I tell you what, hey, Nick, you don't use your books. Can you loan me something out of your student loan? I done lost $3,000 this month on the
so,
Pittsburgh
hold on.
Pirates, man.
Apply for more loans to just give them to you so that I have to pay them
I'm
up.
good
Because
to
that
pay
makes
them back.
that
the
makes
Pirates
sense.
is killing me. Listen, my man Anthony with no hair out of place. I know he got a big brain. He can count cards, but can he help me with the odds? How can I stop the bleeding? Al Levine, the talking machine. Can you please loan me some of your food stamps? I'm eating sardines and you're eating fresh salmon. Al Levine, the talking machine. Help her brother out. HBO.
Let me
Help
help.
your brother out.
Time out. We need a little break. Disclaimers all around. Tony from Chick-fil-A, he didn't throw the race car. Well, maybe he did,
I'll
but
take a handout.
here's the problem, folks. We don't believe in gambling on our show.
I'm getting killed.
And we don't believe in listening to Smoking Jim on who to bet. He came on the show disrespecting the Pirates.
Oh, my goodness.
And he
Kip
said
Moore.
he bet the under, and he won't say how much because that means it's too much.
Way under.
Yes.
And I've
Smoking
been
Jim.
betting every game against the Pirates, and they've been
Smoking
killing
Jim.
me.
This is not a joke. There's a place that I'm volunteering as a media consultant in West Virginia for a school project. They're legit having a gambling anonymous session in June. I think you should go. Not a joke.
He doesn't want that.
If you're
fight.
asking me for
I'm
loans,
full time. I'm full time. I'm just.
you're full-time what?
Let me explain.
Hey,
I'll
wait,
get
wait,
through
wait.
this.
He's one win away from being on a roll.
That's it, Chip.
And Chip, no disrespect, but that is a role for him. That is the role. And like I said, if you don't gamble, don't start. If you do gamble, do the opposite of this degenerate gambler.
But hey, what's on my mind, real quick?
And no loan for you.
How
Oh,
about your food stamps? Because I know you can't be cooking all that good food without no food stamps. I
Smoke-
usually say farewell to welfare,
Didn't you
but
just-
I'll take a handout.
Didn't you just have prime rib today?
yes.
Yeah.
And he paid for it. How did he pay for it? Nick, you're going to school. You're too smart. They teach you to tell the truth when
Hell,
you answer
gave
a
me a
question.
gift card for pasta too. You gave me a gift card.
Yes. Yeah, but that was over a year ago.
But hey, what's on my mind, real quick? Listen.
What's quick about it now?
This is the greatest day of the year, the NFL draft. This will be yet another day where reverse discrimination will stick its head up. There will be 0 white cornerbacks drafted, 0 white cornerbacks getting a tryout, and 0 white cornerbacks in the National Football League. I think it's a shame. I'm the only one standing up for them. Listen, Al Levine, the talking machine, because of nepotism, the Pittsburgh Steelers won't draft my #1 rated fullback in the last 25 years, a white guy from Michigan by the name of Ben Mason, because they got Derek Watt on the team to satisfy TJ Watt. Ben Mason is 6'3", 260 pounds. He had more pancake blocks than any fullback I've ever evaluated. All this guy wants to do is block. Put you in the mind of Moose Johnson when he played for the Dallas Cowboys.
Whoa.
The Pittsburgh Steelers in some round should take the best fullback going. He loves to block people. He can open those holes. Ben Mason from Michigan.
You drink the Steelers Kool-Aid that they're going to run this year.
Pardon me?
Did you drink the Steelers Kool-Aid that they're going to run?
What that got to do with running?
You said a fullback
I
to
would
block?
love to get it. I would love to get it.
Well, wouldn't we need somebody to run?
Short yardage situations. He
Who's-
scores all the time.
Who's going to do that?
Huh? They can't seem to get it. Ask Chip. The Steelers are horrible on 3rd and 4th. They're the worst in the
Wait,
league.
this is what
On
I'm
3rd and
saying.
4th and
Can
short.
somebody translate what I was saying?
Yeah, bring it.
No
bring
running
it.
game.
Ben Mason
Smoking
in.
Jim, enough of that. We got to go to Chip. We're going right to Chip. Chip, what's on your mind?
what's
He's
on
out
my
of
mind?
control tonight.
Well, there's two things that are definitely facts that are connected to the NFL draft. First, Jim's going to give the Steelers a D- in the grade for their draft class. And B, he's going to criticize Mike Tomlin for not drafting a white cornerback.
Yes. Now let's talk football.
These two facts are irrefutable. Okay, so what's on my mind? 12-12. Did anybody besides myself
No.
believe that the Pirates were going to be anything other than 0-24 after their first 24
No, I
games?
figured somewhere in
Thought they were gonna
between
win a
that.
game or
You know,
so.
Less than 500, I figured.
I said it before the season started, and I've been following the team through spring training, and I have listened to or watched parts of every single game that's been played this year. And the Pittsburgh Pirates are a better team without Josh Bell, without Joe Musgrove, and without Jamison Tyone. Ben Charrington, you got to tip your hat to him for getting the slew of prospects that he got for Josh Bell, who at the last time I checked had 5 hits and was batting .119 for the season. Jamison Tyone is a gigantic question mark in New York, and he got 7 or 8 prospects for those two. What a haul to help build the Pirates' future. So you know the Pirates, they're overachieving right now. Their bullpen is one of the best in the league. Starting pitching is still suspect. Mitch Keller, right now we don't know which Mitch Keller we're going to get each time he goes out to the
Yes,
mound.
it's an adventure.
He's had a couple of good outings. He's had a couple of bad outings. Last night we saw the bad Mitch, 2.1, 2 1/3 innings. Gave up 5 runs. But the interesting thing about last night's game is the Pirates were down 6-0, yet they came back and they closed the score to 6-5 before they ultimately ended up losing 9-6. So you would think going down 6-0 that it would just snowball, but the team fights back and they're playing good fundamental baseball. They're playing good defense. They're producing runs without hitting home runs, which is not necessary.
Small ball. They call that small ball.
It's not necessary to hit home runs to score. Now, the next thing I want to bring up is something is going on in the major leagues right now that has not happened in 100 years. There's a player for
Yes.
the Los Angeles Angels, Shohei Ohtani, who is the first player since
My
Babe
man.
Ruth,
My hero.
to lead the league in home runs and pitch a game in the major
100
league.
years. 100 years.
It's been 100 years. And that is more fuel to the fire that says, yes, pitchers do belong in the batter's box.
No.
Get rid of the DH.
Chip, how come that happened in 100 years? That's why it's news, because it doesn't happen very often. It's a century. Shohei Ohtani's just that good, but not everybody's that good.
Do I know how to push people's
Babe
buttons?
Ruth, that's
Jeez.
legendary.
Thank you.
That's legendary
Last
good.
but not least, the Pittsburgh Penguins are 1 point out of first place.
Yes.
And they've got a big 2-game series against the Washington Capitals. Right now, they're in Landover, skating against the Capitals. The score is 0-0.
Good.
13 minutes and 45 seconds left in the first period. The Penguins could ultimately end up in first place in their division.
Yes.
The Penguins have played very, very well. They played a 2-game series against Boston, who was everybody picked at the beginning of the year to be the odds-on favorite to win the division. And it looked like 2 playoff games that were played Sunday and
truly did,
Tuesday night.
yeah.
The Penguins won Sunday 1-0. What a game that was. Tuesday night, the Penguins played them tight until they tried to open it up and force a score. And Boston did what they do. They scored a couple of quick goals. And, but Pittsburgh and Boston in a 7-game series, I'm telling you what. It's going to be a 4-3 series, and flip the coin at who's going to win it. And if they played 3 7-game series, somebody would win. A different team would win it each time. So,
Yeah.
it looks like the Penguins are going to be
They've come
something
together,
to watch
yeah.
in the playoffs. Their last regular season game is next Saturday.
Yeah.
Okay, and then the playoffs will start. The Penguins' goaltending has been stellar. And I honestly, I hate to say this, I feel that the Penguins have become a better team without Evgeny Malkin than they were with him.
They proved it.
But listening to some of the hockey experts today's talking, after that 2-game series against Boston this weekend, they're inclined to believe that they need Evgeny Malkin to beat Boston. And I would like to see Malkin come back. There's a real good chance we'll see him back on the ice Saturday night. He needs to get some games under his belt before they gets into the intensity of playoff hockey. So right now, Pittsburgh sports, a lot to pay attention to, a lot of good things going on. The Steelers get a first-round draft pick tonight, and I'll wake up tomorrow morning and find out what it is because, I got to get my beauty sleep.
All right.
That's what's on my mind.
Thanks, Chip. All right, Nick, what's on your mind?
Well, now the DH is on my mind.
Whoa. That one originally was on your mind.
Do you know why Shohei Ohtani is leading in home runs? Because when he wasn't the pitcher, he was designated hitting. There we go.
No, he wasn't. He plays in the field, too.
Yeah, he was an
Well, he's
He
an
plays the
outfielder, too.
outfield.
Yeah.
He plays the outfield. So
We're gonna fact check you on
he
that.
earns his
All right.
right in the batter's box by playing a position in the field, which a DH is incapable of, and why he shouldn't be on the 25.
But he's been a designated hitter this season.
He was rehabbing then.
He had,
But he still was the
Tommy John
DH. He wouldn't have
surgery.
been able to rehab if he couldn't designated hit.
I'm just
All right.
kidding. I'm just
We've reached
kidding.
an impasse.
No,
well,
we haven't.
No, we
I
don't,
guess we
we
haven't.
don't believe
No, we
in
haven't.
DH as you
I agree
do.
with Nick.
and Smoking Jim don't know.
Probably not for the right
No.
reasons.
He's
Anyway.
just taking the opposite position as me.
Yeah.
All
That's,
right.
that's what
That's
he does.
traditional. That's traditional. Smoking Jim goes against Chip because they sit on the same side.
But we're always on
That
the same
makes sense.
side. We
That-
just disagree
Why
with
do we
each
sit
other.
on the same side? What is it?
It's like family. It's like family.
'Cause
It's the brother you disagree with in the family.
And then there's this kind of family that's
That I don't believe. That's why they don't live here anymore. They couldn't put up with smoking.
but anyway.
And that's a fact. You can check it. Go ahead, Nick. You got the floor.
No, we
Yeah,
already
yeah,
touched on that. I'm graduating on Sunday, so good for that. 412-651-5549. If you need a videographer or announcer or something,
You want to say it
Peg.
slower because I'm old. I don't-
412-651-5549. That's my phone
And when
number.
you go out in the business
Good.
world, always repeat your number.
All right.
That hammers it home.
still-
Since I do networking, I'm giving you one tip that'll
I agree with
last
that.
you a lifetime.
All right.
Say it twice. All right, you done? Because you got to save something for the other segment.
Oh,
of
I got
yours.
something to talk about for the other second.
I was a
Trying to
little
think.
nervous because right now you're picking up on what we're saying, like the DH.
Oh, right. Well,
Yeah, that threw
Well,
me
what was
off.
originally on my mind, we were talking about it earlier. Smoking Jim and I need to share a bucket of chicken sometime.
Yes, sir.
maybe
Okay.
Yes, sir.
maybe eat some buckets of chicken on location
Hey,
at
we
some
can
point.
even
That
crack
too.
some ribs together.
I'm not a big ribs
Here
guy,
on the
though.
How
chicken
about
part,
watermelon?
Tony
Watermelon?
from Chick-fil-A said, "How is Smoking Jim still able to buy a bucket of chicken from KFC with no money? Gamblers that are smart know when to walk away."
I won 250
LOL.
yesterday. Betting against
He's
the
down
Pirates.
3K,
Yeah,
and
I
that
am.
that
in
means.
a month. In a month.
Let me explain. Every gambler I know, like Smoking Jim, the degenerate gambler type, they never tell the truth what they're down. So if it's 3, it's 6. I found that out from working with guys just like my friend. That's the truth on that. No doubt. But we're going to carry on. What's on my mind, I got to even think about this now. First, I was going to bring up the Penguin game. Chip covered that beautifully because my son and I watched. That was like a perfect playoff game, 1-0 game. Second game, we watched the whole game, got frustrated at the end because Boston came on. But I wanted to share that the Penguins are playing just like Sullivan wants them to, team-wise. And they're very aggressive on the defense when you see them. They're not like they were at the beginning of the season. We all remember that. Chip was saying we don't have a chance because they had a change. So they listen to Sullivan, they're playing. The one problem I have with Malkin coming back, I love him as a player, but he plays his own game. And him being Russian, sometimes he's too tired to play hockey. He wants to rest. So we need him to fit in with the system they got going.
Well, the problem, one of Malkin's problems, when he gets frustrated, he acts out, and he usually,
useless
you know,
penalties.
and he may not be the instigator, but it's the guy that retaliates that gets the foolish penalty.
Sure. No, and that's what we don't need. So we'll need a change with Malkin because even Letang, we've all talked about him with some of his mistakes that he makes, but he's
played
been playing great.
He's been playing much better.
Yes.
He's staying within the system, and he's
And
not.
it shows he knows he's now 34 and he may not have too many years left. So why take those chances
No,
when you
and-
have other players that are able to do that?
and he doesn't have a general manager that's going to protect him.
Exactly. Exactly. All right, we're going to come back with some fiction and fact from who knows what's in Smoking Jim's almanac.
Steelers show blitz. He throws the pass up. It's going to be picked up. James Harrison has it. He's running up the sideline. 25-30.
Hi, Bethel Park. Uncle Al speaking. I'm asking you to come help us behind the scenes at BP TV. We're looking for some proud Bethel Park residents to help us make the shows that you want to watch. For more information, contact Station Director Dave Cable, and we will see you behind the cameras at BP TV. I had a conversation with Master Zhang. Now he wants to break a board over my head. So I told him I trust him. If he tells me one more time that I can trust him, the show's off. We're ready. Master Zhang, get up here. I got my hoagie. He said I could eat and not worry about getting crumbs in there. So I'm going to eat.
Sounds good. All right, I won't.
Don't shake or anything. We got wire.
Let's move back a little bit. Zach, get on top. I don't eat yet. Just give me a second. Move back.
I'm hungry.
Move back. Move back. Bend your knees.
How tall are you?
I'm super short.
No, just tell me how tall, because you're going to kick.
5'9".
All right, he's 5'9" unofficially. He's like my dad.
All right.
Can I eat this? I'm hungry.
Yeah, keep this mic in. All right, ready?
I'm tucked in.
Here we go.
This is delicious. Can't beat it.
Here we go.
Go.
Huss!
I'm a little nervous. I'm nervous.
Woo!
Did you do it? Woo! Did you do it? I'm going to have to watch that. Thank you.
Steelers show blitz. He throws the pass up. It's going to be picked up. James Harrison has it. He's running up the sideline. 25-30.
Thanks, Al Levine, the talking machine. My main man, the VIP of BPTV, Nick.
That's a new
And
segment.
I tell you what,
The
the
VIP.
best athlete in Bethel Park history, and he's from Baldwin, is my main man, Connor, number 48.
Hold it. Disclaimer.
How did that? What?
How did you even connect the dots with that?
Well,
The
he's
best
in Bethel Park right now. and
Yes.
He's the best athlete to ever step foot in Bethel Park.
Technicality.
And I tell you what,
Even
Way
better
to
than
go,
the hammer.
Connor.
I feel like professional
The
athletes
hammer.
have been in Bethel Park before.
Harmon.
Yeah.
oh, yeah, maybe rest in
How
peace.
about your hero? Yeah.
Yeah. And speaking of my hero, I got his autograph. My main
Tell
man
them.
Anthony, never a hair out of place, working the ones and twos, making us look good. And my nemesis, my number one, my ace Bakun, my pride.
That's the
joy.
biggest word I've heard you use. Nemesis. There you go.
Let me look
My
in
main
the
man Chip.
let me look in the dictionary. 1909 dictionary.
In the 6 months I've been here, that's the most
Here,
complicated
Connor,
word
we
I've
need
ever
you to
used.
get a close up on the
That was
dictionary.
Jim's attempt at a 50-cent word.
Yeah, I tried to
Nemesis.
practice that all
Try to pull up this and see what year this dictionary's in. A shout out
1919.
A shout out goes to Lois Brenner for this dictionary. Let's see what comes up here.
Wow,
Look at that year,
all them words.
1909.
1909.
He's always wrong on the numbers. Try to be
all.
careful. Don't bet.
Well,
Let me see Nemesis. Oh, it's not in here.
Really?
No, I'm kidding.
Oh.
Sorry.
what's on my
That was
mind,
that
Al Levine, the
sarcasm
talking
sometimes.
machine, is the NFL draft. I put out on Facebook today that the Steeler draft will be a total bust if they don't get the next Franco Harris, 6'3", 235 Najee Harris. And I would trade a guy that I don't like, Devin Bush. I would trade him to Miami to move up to that 18th spot to get Harris. But if they don't do that and Harris is already gone, Al Levine, the talking machine, there's a quarterback that I like. Not too many people know about him in the first round. He should be there. He's 6'5", 250 pounds, and his name is Cal Trash from the University of Florida. Nobody's talking about this kid. I
They
tell you
did
what,
earlier.
The reason they don't say much about him because he only started 1 year in high school. It happened to be 9th grade. He got beat out by King as a sophomore, junior, and a senior. King went on to set records at the University of Houston. Then he played last year at the University of Miami. Upset a couple teams. Only 5'11", so he ain't going nowhere but Canada. But I tell you what, because of 7-on-7s, Florida gave him a scholarship. He's a 2.5-year starter. This year, he threw 43 touchdown passes. And I tell you what, he reminds me of one of my favorite quarterbacks, Phillip Rivers. He got a better throwing motion than Phillip Rivers, but he don't have as strong an arm. But I tell you what, the intangibles remind me of the greatest offensive leader in NFL history, Tom Brady. This is a guy that got a lot of intangibles. I wouldn't be upset, even though the Steelers extended Mason Rudolph today, even though they got 4 quarterbacks on their roster right now. I wouldn't be upset if they took my sleeper, because I tell you what, this is a guy that fought. He had no reason to believe he could play at the University of Florida. Not only did he do that, he broke every record, 4,000 yards in one season, 43. He broke all Tim Tebow's records. Al Levine, the talking machine. I wouldn't be opposed to the Pittsburgh Steelers drafting a quarterback in the first round, long as it's Kyle Trask.
Thank you, Smoking Jim. We'll move on now.
Well, there will be some interesting goings on in this year's draft, because there still could be some moves made before the draft start. Aaron Rodgers wants out of Green Bay.
How about that? For
Jimmy
breaking news?
Garoppolo is being bantered around for trade bait. So who knows what's going to go on, what kind of moves are going to be made. It'll be interesting to see how this all pans out. But I guess this Brendan Love, is that what his name was? The Packers
Yeah.
that they took last year, is he Aaron Rodgers' heir apparent? And what's Aaron Rodgers got his pants all in a bunch about? I mean,
They're mistreating him. Chip, they're mistreating him.
why?
lost to Tom Brady.
He's getting his
Playoffs.
paychecks, right?
They made the wrong
he
call.
agreed to the contract. They're
They
paying
made
him.
the wrong call in the game. Instead of trying to make him pass, he should have just ran for the touchdown.
Better team won.
No, he could have ran for that touchdown.
The team that Nick predicted won.
MVP of the league doesn't run for a touchdown when there's nobody there.
Next up, Jacksonville Jaguars are planning on trying out Tim Tebow as a tight end.
He can do it.
So this
What
will-
happened to baseball?
So Tim Tebow
wasn't
will
there.
now set the dubious distinction of being a failed NFL quarterback, a failed Major League Baseball player, and then he's going to be a failed NFL tight end. And he's got a lot to put on one guy's resume.
He used to throw a ball like Smoking Jim, baseball.
But to get to my trivia segment,
Curveball.
2 weeks ago, I missed that Thursday show. Work-related issues, and that also happened to be Jackie Robinson Day, and that was brought to my attention by Jim because he noticed everybody was wearing uniform number 42,
Yeah.
and he said to me, "Chip Hader, the prophet, why is everybody wearing number 42?"
It's not, disclaimer, it's not Black History Month, so Smoking Jim has tunnel vision on who he's betting.
So
Who do I bet?
I had planned this trivia for that night. And
Okay.
last week we got a little bit long-winded, so I didn't have time to get to it. But it's a different connection to the Jackie Robinson story because everybody knows what the Jackie Robinson story was.
You better
Jackie
explain it to
Robinson
Smoking.
broke the color barrier.
Tell Smoking.
1947 by starting as
Branch
second
Rickey
baseman
had
for
faith in
the
him.
for the Los Angeles Dodgers. But prior to that happening, a little-known person that played in the minor leagues by the name of George Shuba,
Spell that for Smoking Jim.
S-H-U-B-A.
Shuba.
And I'll give you the background
And he
to
was
the
white.
stories.
And he was white.
There's a picture of, if you can zoom
Pull
in
in
on
that
this,
on
Connor.
Connor.
There's a picture of Jackie Robinson
This is a classic.
shaking hands with a teammate as he crosses home plate. And I'll give you the story that brought this to my attention that I
Great
felt was
story.
worth telling. The letter from St. Christine's School to Mike Shuba's parents said their son had teased another kid in his kindergarten class for being overweight. When Mike got home, his father, George Shotgun Shuba, pointed at the wall above his recliner to the only memento displayed in the house from his 14-year baseball career. "I want you to look up at that photo," he said to his young son. "That's me and Jackie Robinson, and I want you to understand what it means. You treat all people equal. Do you understand? The framed black and white image showed two teammates from the Montreal Royals shaking hands at home plate on April 18th, 1946. That's 1 year before Jackie broke the color barrier in the major leagues. It was Robinson's first regular season game in the formerly all-white minor leagues, a milestone for baseball and for America that came a year before Robinson broke Major League's color barrier for the Brooklyn Dodgers. The handshake appeared in newspapers across North America the day after the game and was virtually forgotten for half a century.
Chip, I never heard about it till you told me about it.
Well, you know me.
You dug deep.
I find these nuggets.
Why do you think I like trivia? Keep them coming.
Except in the family room of the Schuba's home. In the late 1990s, when the elder Schuba was in his 70s, Mike Schuba embarked on a mission to have others see the principled man an adoring son saw in the long-cherished photo. Mike Schuba's efforts continue today, 7 years after his father died, and there's a new chapter to the Robinson Schuba story. The Schuba's hometown of Youngstown, Ohio, will unveil a bronze statue this summer memorializing Robinson and the unheralded outfielder who gave him a hand one day
thing.
75 years ago.
That is great.
So, George Schuba never really made it out of the minor leagues, but he was the first player to come up and smile and congratulate Jackie Robinson as he crossed home plate, which was really big because racism was rampant, and having him play on the team and him being the first person to show acceptance
Oh, it means
really
a lot.
really said a lot, and it really, I think, just adds to Jackie Robinson's legacy.
Yeah.
And so when you think about Jackie Robinson moving forward, think about the name George Schuba. Yes, sir.
When did Branch Rickey own the Pirates?
He never did.
He never did own the Pirates. He was the general manager for the Pirates, and as a matter of fact, he pilfered Roberto Clemente from the Montreal Royals
Yes.
out of the Dodgers system and brought him to Pittsburgh.
He was
Well,
a
who-
smart baseball guy.
Well, who told Kiner that we could come in last without you?
Branch Rickey.
Branch Rickey. Branch Rickey was the general manager of the Pittsburgh Pirates. He
Let
was
me
not the owner.
explain something, Smoking Jim.
Yeah.
You know your money. You know your money.
Yeah.
If you have enough of it,
Yeah.
you can buy what's called a baseball team.
So you own two teams?
No, you owe one
No,
team.
he was a general manager, not the owner.
So
The
you
owner
would
is
own
the
the
one that
team.
signs everybody's paycheck, including the general manager.
Let me explain it in simple terms. You're the owner. Chip's Branch Rickey. He works for you.
Around those years,
Think about it.
one of the part owners of the Pittsburgh Pirates was Bing Crosby.
You know who Bing was.
Oh, yeah. Now, now,
I'm not going to ask who he was.
now, well, when did he stop being the GM of the Pirates?
I think before
sometime
1960.
Sometime in the mid to late 50s.
Well, how did he get Jackie Robinson?
Because at that time he was the general manager for the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Oh, then he came
no,
to
for the
Pirates.
Brooklyn
The
Dodgers.
Brooklyn
yes.
Dodgers.
He was,
He came
he was
to
a
the
general.
Pirates
Yeah,
after that.
he moved from team to team.
See, there's never a dumb question. See, you guys answered that. You guys was
Well, you
patient.
just have to ask.
One
yeah,
little
just-
disclaimer is Smoking Jim didn't know baseball till October 11, 2011, even though his best friend, Claudio Rosano, he couldn't pronounce his name when we first started our show. I interviewed him on the Talking Machine show today, so I had
Did you?
Claudio on my show.
see that.
We mentioned your name once. That'll come out in the next day or
Is
two.
that it?
But he doesn't know baseball, folks, so all his questions, not that they're in the dumb category, it's because he don't know.
All right, thanks.
Yeah, that's all. It's simple as that. Thanks, Chip. That was great.
Thank you.
All right, we'll move on to Nick here. We don't have a segment for him, so it's something in between what's on his
I like
mind.
the name of the VIP.
Do you?
The VIP.
All right, VIP Nick is going to speak out.
Thanks, Smoking Jim. This is more of a discussion topic because I want to know people's opinion on this. Yes.
Tie score 1-1 Penguins and the
Let's
Capitals.
go.
Go Pens.
Go Pens.
All right, VIP
Gary
Nick.
Kapanen scored.
That was worth a little break in Nick's little discussion he wants to start.
All right.
And it'll be a short one.
Right, short one. Madison Bumgarner threw 7 innings, didn't give up a hit. in his 2 7-inning doubleheader. Go ahead. What's the head for?
When baseball changes a game to 7 innings and everything else counts but the no-hitter should count, in my opinion.
Chip?
Well, I think personally, I don't think that they should be playing 7-inning baseball games. I think a baseball game should be 9 innings. It always has been, and it always should be. But that being said, if you're gonna not count it, I would say count it with an asterisk.
Yeah.
Put
2 asterisks there.
Because
Put 2.
I mean a no-hitter. It was a
One
complete
for a
game.
7-inning game and one for the no-hitter.
It was a complete game.
I'm serious.
And he pitched a no-hitter, and if it's going to count as a win, it should count as a no-hitter as well.
Chip, on that same thought, baseball's all about the stats. If every other stat counts for every other player in the game, why doesn't a no-hitter count? Who's in charge?
You know what? I don't believe that they thought this through.
No.
And
I know they didn't.
Get me up to speed on this.
Okay.
Oh, no, you can't.
You can't. All right. Well,
describe how a
Diamondbacks
game's
pitcher,
9 innings
Madison
and go
Bumgarner
say
threw
what they
a
did.
no-hitter. Okay, it was in the second game of a doubleheader, and when they play doubleheaders now, they're 7-inning games.
I didn't know that.
Well, we
That's a
know
rule,
you
but
didn't
the
know.
guy-
That's a rule
yeah.
that got instituted this year.
I don't like that.
And then also
Okay,
the
he's
rule
a
that they
traditionalist
Let's go.
now.
this year is that in extra innings, when you go to the 10th inning, the runner starts out at second base with
I
no
don't
outs.
like that.
well, it just took to the no-hitter, though. What do you think? You think they should count as a no-hitter?
I don't like that.
No. But do you think that it should be counted as a no-hitter?
No.
He pitched 7 innings in what was
Why?
classified as a complete
What's
game.
your logic behind it?
Give me 2 more. 2 more.
What?
You get one
I don't
decision.
like it. I don't like the rule.
All right. Yeah. I mean,
What about the other guys? If they got hits or strikeouts, that counts. Why?
Well, once again, in this day and age of baseball, and I'll paraphrase what Jim Leland said this past week.
Ooh.
They coddle pitchers too much. They don't pitch enough. The pitch counts are a bunch of BS, and since the inception of baseball 150 years ago, they played doubleheaders. And you know what? So they play 2 9-inning games. It's no big deal. They've got lights. They can play until both games are over. Why should 2 games be 7 innings each and not 9 innings? I don't understand it. A game is 9 innings. That's like telling me, okay, we got inclement weather, so we're going to play a 50-minute football game.
That'll never happen.
Would that count as a real game? I mean, sure.
Well, no, but football already has definitive time.
You know-
The thing about baseball is that there's no definitive time. It's flexible.
Explain that to Smoking Jim.
There's no clock in baseball,
But
pretty much.
the one thing that has been constant for
Thanks for being my
150
right-hand
years.
man.
And I think what we're trying to do is we're trying to play to an audience that isn't going to pay attention to the game in the first place.
Stay traditional.
I mean, the people that love baseball are going to, like myself. I don't need to see big stars. I appreciate the game. I'm telling you, I'm looking forward to going to the ballpark on Saturday night. Watch the Pirates and the Cardinals play. I've been watching the Pirates and the Cardinals play for close to 60 years. They play great baseball games. I don't care who's in the uniforms. I just want to see the game played.
And my point is, the rules, if everything else counts in a game, just admit that you missed that. 7 innings was the official game. There wasn't an 8th inning. There wasn't a 9th inning scheduled. 7 innings are the game. He pitched a no-hitter. He already has a great, career that he's done.
To say, in the 8th or 9th inning, as the game wears on, fatigue starts to set
We
in.
all know
Well, I
that.
saw a
And,
stat.
how many times has a no-hitter been broken up in the 9th inning?
I have a stat.
I was at a game where the Pirates broke up a no-hitter in the top of the 9th. No, in the bottom of the 9th. First batter, Jay.
Yeah. How many
got
times
I have a stat.
have we seen that?
In the last
Go ahead.
20 years, just over 80 no-hitters have gone past the 7th inning. Only 18 have been
Official.
no-hitters.
Yeah.
Really?
Through 9, through the whole game. Facebook seems to have the answer. I wanted to bring this up because I saw a post that was controversial. Madison Bumgarner
Yeah.
doesn't get a no-hitter. And then people seem to just know the answer. Everybody's just confident online. No way. Or, yes, this should be a no-hitter. Baseball is silly. Because they know.
Well,
but
I have one common sense thing. If you can answer it, like I've told Chip, if you count every other stat is the same in a 7-inning game, why is a no-hitter not considered that stat?
That makes
See,
no
well,
sense.
I mean,
You know,
the,
people say all kinds of ridiculous
Yeah,
things.
and I'm
but I know
on
they
social
I'm being
media,
straight
stuff
up,
like Pete
but
Rose should be in
If
the Hall of Fame.
it was designated
Yeah.
a 7-inning game, that's the official game.
No, right, I
He
understand.
pitched the official game of 7 innings as a no-hitter.
But see, I mean, I get that
Put
they
the asterisk
I get
there,
that they
2 of them.
I get that they put it in the record books and it's some special thing. On one hand, I think you should have the no-hitter because it was a complete game by Major League rules right now. But on the other hand, I mean, a no-hitter is just like
No,
an
here's what they should
impress.
do.
People,
It was the 7th-inning game. If it's they got a no-hitter, then play the final 2 innings.
no, but I see that. To me, that's not necessary because a no-hitter is just. I mean, if people are already paying attention to it and is recognized as a good pitching performance, does it matter if Major League Baseball recognizes it as a no-hitter? That's pretty much my point. It's not as concrete as, oh, they should recognize it, they shouldn't recognize it. It was a great performance. The other team didn't get a hit through a regulation game, so just accept the fact that he pitched well, remember that for as long as you can, and move on with it. Quit going to Facebook for your answers.
Well, I don't go there for it.
Yeah, I
I'm
don't
going
know.
But
for
I'm
common
saying
sense.
that the
Yes.
600 plus comments that I saw were just like, we all
I
have
go to
the answer.
Facebook to help my bowels move.
Whoa.
Well, you only got 100 friends. Come in my Facebook page.
Uh-huh.
1,000.
I'm still at 4,600.
Come on
But my point is,
You know what? Unless you would have told me, I didn't know how many friends I had on Facebook.
but my point is, it's less concrete than people
No,
make it
thanks for
out to
bringing
be.
it up.
And I wanted to hear your opinions because it's interesting what people think.
Well,
but it's
Here,
less
I'll
concrete
break
than
it
is.
down so that you can understand. I go by the keep it simple, stupid, the KISS method.
Right.
And if you keep something simple, they made the rules. They changed the game to 7 innings.
Oh yeah,
So every stat should count.
correct. I agree. I agree with that.
On that
makes sense.
For the other arguments, I could understand it. For Smoking Jim's argument, he doesn't have one.
I agree with Facebook.
And that's why you're out of money.
All right. Thanks, Nick. We're going to move on to my segment. I'll wait till Connor counts me down. On location, Smoking Jim, I got bad news for you today. Yesterday, I had to find out if we have boxing on Saturday. So I send Jim Santamaro a message. Haven't heard anything. I assume we're going to have boxing. Let me know. So he called me back because I knew if I said I assume we have boxing, we didn't have it. Because in boxing, I'll just share this with you. Unless they're talking about it, they aren't doing it.
Right.
So Smoking Jim knows that rule. And I had a good conversation with them. We're going to be part of their next boxing match. It could be in May. It could be in June. They don't know because there's another couple boxing matches like Matt Conway's fighting May 4th. McSorley has a Sokol Club fights on the 15th. So they're not sure when they can put that in. Then you have Memorial Day, you know, the holiday.
Bill
towards the-
Boyce got something.
Yes. Yeah, so we have that to work.
Congratulations to USS Cunningham. He won his fight in Atlanta on pay-per-view TV.
Beating a UFC guy.
Yeah.
So he's still in shape.
Man, is he built.
And he's lost some fights that because he's old, they ignore the old guy who beat the younger guys because they think the younger guys can box.
Mind if I interrupt?
You can.
I'm thinking about something here.
Go ahead.
Now I'm rethinking this, that, you know what? 7-inning no-hitter shouldn't count because
Thank you.
Harvey Haddix pitched a 13-inning no-hitter,
Yeah.
and he lost his no-hitter. So it did not count as a no-hitter, even though he pitched more than 9 innings of no-hit baseball.
Right.
But the game was regulation because it went into extra innings.
Well, it went into extra innings. So,
But he gave up a hit.
but
Here's what I say.
It's
It's
touchy.
Game regulation.
It's touching.
Here's what I
This is a
say.
rule change. This is a rule change that may not be permanent.
It is only temporary.
Right.
Right
so
now.
there you go. It's not a permanent rule. So
Asterisk City.
154 games back when Roger Maris was going for the record in
Asterisk.
1961.
Yeah, and Babe
Was
Ruth's
regulation.
records and everything else.
They put an
yeah,
asterisk
and
on that
it,
for.
and it took illegal drugs to beat that record in 162 games.
It was actually recognized in. Well, never mind. Too much.
You're not
Too much
gonna get-
explanation.
No. Hey, on my location, well, we don't have it on location there. Kathleen's going to talk about us maybe doing a show on location at Friendship Village on Boyce Road. So we'll see what happens there. I've had a couple other things. Smoking Jim and I got to tell him, I was asked to maybe do a show with possibly adding Smoking Jim, since I said he's a gambler at the Rivers Casino. So we'll have to see what not to do. But we're going to possibly have a show there. Yeah, don't do that. He just lays it down.
Just
You
laying
see
the
what he's
card.
doing?
I see
He's
the
just
card. I
laying
see
the
the
money.
invisible cards.
I'm gonna make it real simple. You want to know what not to do? Don't bet.
Yes, that's as simple as that, Chip. And you have that choice once you're an adult. Next thing, a little trivia thing for Chip and Nick. I had a question on the width of the football field. I was watching ESPN the other day, and it is 120 by 53.5 yards.
Ooh.
So I did find that out, and I wanted to share that with you guys because, you know, I like the trivia, and I forgot how wide it was.
I knew that.
There's no way you told us last week.
No, nobody asked me.
We talked.
We
I
talked.
must have talked about it before the show.
No, we talked about it during the show.
Yeah.
I think we talked about it during the
didn't
show.
know.
I could be wrong.
Because
but
you
I don't
watched the
remember.
show, so you should have known that you were silent like a little mouse.
It wasn't on the show, was it, Corner? It was before
I
the
think,
show.
I think he's
Just
picking
put
some of
Connor
that
on the
prime
spot.
rib out of his
Yeah,
teeth.
I didn't know.
I'm going to go check that tape again.
Yeah,
We'll have to
nailed
check
that.
it. Because not only is Smoking Jim never wrong in his mind, but we've seen a few times that he has been. So we'll have to look at the tape. But
Yeah. Hey, Jim was wrong once, but then he figured it out. He was mistaken.
okay. And then on the other thing, I proved him that he was wrong. So he was proven wrong.
I got you right there.
Well, on location, we'll stay tuned for the boxing matches whenever that is. We'll be out at the USS Fight Academy. And we're going to go to Penguin Talk right now, Anthony, so you don't have to tell us to go to a break. We'll just go into Penguin Talk. Latest score, Chip.
Tie score. End of the first period, 1-1.
Hooray.
That's an
Kasperi
intermission.
Kapanen scored for the Penguins. TJ Oshie scored for the Capitals. Looks like a pretty tight
Even
fought game. And this is, you know, every game right now, they should be playing at playoff intensity.
They are, because it's like the playoffs.
You know, this is going to determine where they're seated for the playoffs.
If
And,
we
you
win
know,
these
the
two
one
games,
thing I don't want to see them start the playoffs, and I don't want to see them start the first round against Boston.
yeah.
Boston gives them all kinds of problems. Boston's just got some really tight players, and you know, Tuukka Rask, their number one goaltender, he's done a number on the Penguins in the past.
He's for real, yes.
There's no question. But you know, and here's the only thing about the Penguins going into the playoffs is, you know, Tristan Jarry and Casey DeSmith have proven that they're quality NHL goaltenders.
Yeah.
They don't have the playoff experience or the playoff resume
Good
to
point.
fall back on. And playoff hockey is a horse of a different color. There's no question about it. The intensity level is in one mistake. You know,
It's over.
You know, you don't see a lot of playoff games 6-5. You know, a lot of playoff games are 1-0, 2-1, 3-2. So you
Well,
really
I
have
think
to
in
be,
most sports, defense does win the games. So
well,
when
they tighten things up there, and when in the minute you make a mistake, one of your competitors jumps on it and it ends up in the net.
No, and that's true. And I wanted to give this out to Smoking Jim Frazier since he talks about the curse of Fleury. Do you see what Las Vegas has been doing?
No, I haven't seen
Winning. And there's even experts that say Vegas may be the team to win the cup.
Well, you know, the interesting thing is going on with the NHL right now.
Yeah,
The regular season ends next Saturday.
yeah.
Okay, that's May 8th. The teams in the Western Division of the Canadian, because the Canadians
Right.
are not allowed to cross the border
2
in the United
weeks.
States.
Yeah, it's a 2-week
Their
quarantine.
their final regular season game is going to be May 18th. That's 10 days after the players in the United States. So now there's 3 divisions whose teams could literally start the playoffs now.
Yeah.
And do they wait? Do they wait to start them for these teams, for the other teams to start their? They got a little bit of a sticky wicket
No,
here.
I saw some of that.
Because then what ends up happening is while the Canadian teams are playing their playoffs, and you're sitting there waiting to play one of those teams.
Right.
What do you do? And how are they going to do this? Because the borders still aren't open.
2 weeks. 2-week
and
quarantine.
they're going to have to put them in a bubble.
2 weeks.
They're going to have to put them in a bubble. And
It looks like that's possible.
and that will be interesting to see how that plays out. And the delay is all due to COVID protocols that
Yes.
were exercised. So the games have to be played. Everybody's got to play 56 games. They can't just. So it'll be interesting to
No,
see
those
how
are
this
great
plays
points.
out. And what are they going to do? Because teams are going to lose their edge if they have to sit and wait 10 days to start their playoffs.
Practice isn't the same as playing, as we know.
No, it isn't. And then I think it'll take away from the quality of the hockey.
It'll
because-
tilt that
because
table.
everything's ramping up right now, building towards the playoffs. Teams are jockeying for position. They're playing like every game absolutely matters, which it does.
Right.
Okay, and then you get into playoff hockey, and you could go home.
Well,
tomorrow.
look at our situation. Say we beat Washington 2 games. We're in first place
by 3
by
points.
3 points.
But we could
with-
lose that.
Right, with a couple games to go, 4 games to go or something.
Right, and every game that you're playing is against the team in your division.
And it means something.
So yes, they absolutely mean something. So.
No, very interesting and a little complex.
It's a little complex, and I want to see how they go about doing this because you want it to be fair, but you also don't want to lose the momentum that you've got building going into the playoffs.
And I don't know how you do that. Do a combination
I
of that.
don't have an answer right now, and
Right.
I'm interested.
And I'm
to
not
see.
leaving it up to Smoking Jim. There's no way. We'll keep him out of this. His opinion will come out when we need a negative point. So we'll just wait on that. No, but
But to
Chip, you
be
make
honest,
great
to
points.
be honest with you, though,
Yeah.
I know the NHL owners will never do this, but I think I really like the 56-game hockey season, and
Yeah.
I'm thinking, maybe if they start the season beginning
some
of
money.
December, play the 56 games, have the Stanley Cup Finals done by the end of May.
Yeah.
I think it would be great because I think every game has much more value in it now than when there's 82 games.
Look at these 2-game series, 3-game series.
I
Look,
think about what that does logistically for teams and travel.
saves money there.
But the owners are never going to do that because hockey is a gate-driven revenue sport.
Yes, big
where,
time.
Where the NFL is television revenue, and
Yeah.
other sports are, but the NHL not so much.
No, we'll just have to see what happens,
Mm-hmm.
on that for sure. But let's go Pens. We got that chance, and we'll see what happens with them. The Buccos. Great to be a Bucco fan right now, unless you're
Against
smoking.
the Cardinals this weekend,
Unless
I'll be
you're
there.
smoking, and we'll just go from there. Thanks, Nick, for your insights. Thanks to all of you for watching our show and enjoying our entertainment. We're trying to distract you from some of the serious stuff going out there. Just stay safe and healthy. And, we need people to get their shots, contrary to people that disagree. Shots are better than not shots. And
Shots are better than not.
yes. And please stay Joey strong.